Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that is designed to create a clear pathway to a more desirable future when it has a sense of purpose attached to it. One of the key guiding tools and principles that I use when I'm working with clients in terms of change work is Dilts logical levels. And Dilts logical levels is effectively a framework that looks at the different elements that influence change. And typically you've got things on the exterior or the base, depending on if you look at the almost circular rings model or if you look at it like a pyramid. But on the least influential is things like environment and behavior. And that's normally the thing that people spend most of their time trying to change. They try and get themselves out of a job or out of an undesirable relationship, or they change the food that's in their cupboards. So they're changing their environment. They may even change their behavior. You know, they get a new job, or they go on a diet, or they try and go to the gym. So it's focused on environment and behavior. What tends to have the biggest impact in change is things like values, beliefs, and if you can get to the level, identity. But there is a level above identity, which if you tap into that, can be life-changing. And that is a vision or mission linked to a clear purpose. And sometimes you see people in the world that are purpose-driven. And when you find these purpose-driven people, they are literally on a mission. They're on a mission to do something that is aligned with who they are, what they're all about, and what they want to see different in the world. This particular client was very intelligent, very capable, but didn't feel fulfilled and often felt bored and would almost had a rule that they couldn't be doing nothing. It wasn't okay to be lazy, but at the same time, it wasn't okay to just enjoy rest because that was perceived to be lazy. So evaluating all of this, it was evident that they would benefit from having a real sense of purpose linked to a vision or a mission. And from their perspective, it was to have a positive impact on the world in terms of health, because they were from the medical world. So you can hear an element of timeline work where they get to compare a future on their current trajectory, what they described as plodding along, versus a future of purpose and mission linked to their value of kindness, but also their value of having a positive impact on people's health around the world. It was evident from the facial expressions I was seeing from the client that they were more engaged in a future where there was purpose in it than without. Obviously, this session was created for a very particular individual working in the health industry and lacking a particular purpose. But knowing what I know about people and over 1,000 clients that I've worked with, most people don't really have an idea of who they are at their core, at the identity, or what their purpose in life is. A lot of people are following the script of almost a societal script. Get educated, get a job, get in a relationship, get a home, go on holidays a few times a year. And unfortunately, that leads to a lack of meaning, and it feels that, well, kind of what's the point? And once you tap into that vision and that purpose, it can galvanize and solidify a lot of very powerful emotions. So I would encourage you, if you're listening to this and you feel like you don't have a purpose or a vision and you think that hypnosis might be able to help, to click the link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call with me, and we can explore working one-on-one. For now, though, you might find that this session is actually helpful, in which case, if you find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, make yourself really comfortable, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of stress and tension to feel like it's melting away and leaving your body in your outward breath. I want you to notice any feelings of tension in your forehead, around your eyelids or eyebrows. As you breathe in, just picture a warm color that represents relaxation, maybe orange or yellow. Imagine that warm color going in, and as you exhale, just imagine a darker gray color leaving your body, representing any stress, any worries, any tension. Breathing in that resourceful feeling and exhaling anything that is unuseful for you right now. And that doesn't have to be tension. That could be a worry. That could be an intrusive thought that keeps coming up. Any feelings of unworthiness. Any feelings of boredom. Just allow these worries or feelings to leave your body. And allow a resourceful alternative to feel like it's displacing that. Boredom could be replaced with a feeling of inspiration or enthusiasm. Feeling of a lack of worthiness could be replaced with a real sense of drive and significance. As you allow yourself to breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're standing on a path that diverges into two. I want you to imagine that the path on the left represents carrying on pretty much as usual. Doing what you've been doing, and we can call this pathway plodding along. Carry on doing what you're doing. And yes, certain things may change. Maybe you take up a new hobby. Maybe you change some food choices. But I want you to accept the idea that that pathway on the left represents the status quo. Incremental change. And I want you to imagine traveling down that pathway, but this time hovering above yourself and seeing that future if not much changes. I want you to imagine following your life a year from now. I want you to get a sense that progress has been made, but perhaps not as much progress as could be made. I want you to see different elements of your life, your health, your finances, confidence, body shape, friendships, relationships. I want you to follow that life as 1 year turns into 2, turns into 5, maybe turns into 10, and see that pathway of what it's like. And occasionally I want you to see that vacuums are always being filled. If there is a lack of an inspiring calling. It can easily be the case that decisions get made from a place of gratification, just filling in the time as an antidote to boredom. I want you to see if certain things are missing in your life. Substitutes are found. Sometimes food can be a replacement for a human connection. Sometimes food can be a replacement for stimulation. But I want you to follow this pathway, and then I want you to evaluate how much impact you've had on the wider world. And perhaps you've changed hundreds, if not thousands of lives. But I want you to get a sense of what if you were able to impact millions of lives? And if you get a sense that this is just one of many futures and that another future is possible for you, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine going back in time to that pathway. But the pathway on the right, that alternative future, that different timeline, I want that to represent for you a future of purpose and intention. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to follow a future where your impact and purpose is to influence and impact as many people as possible to improve their health and well-being, but also a sense of positivity and purpose. And I want you to imagine that future is being done not in a controlling way, not in a preaching way, but in a way that inspires people through empathy, understanding, and kindness. And I want you to float up above yourself and see yourself with the characteristics of someone that is driven by a mission, a vision, a purpose bigger than themselves. A version of you that wants to harness all that knowledge and skills, a unique way of looking at the world, and decide to put that to use for something bigger than yourself. I want you to see you with the beliefs aligned with that vision. And maybe one of those beliefs is that it's important to walk your talk, that it's important to be the change you want to see in the world. And I want you to imagine seeing that version of you and see what it looks like even after just a few weeks. You seem to have more energy, more focus, more of a desire to utilize your time. I want you to see that future where you're being kinder to yourself, more understanding of yourself. I want you to see that version of yourself being enthused by a vision and a purpose that makes you want to raise your standards, not because you have to and not because you should, but because as you raise your standards, you unlock more of the resources to have a bigger impact in the world. See the weeks turn into months and notice that there's a new lease of life, more energy, more vitality, no time for binging on food. I want you to see yourself being more active, physically active, making better choices with food and nutrition. See yourself being an example of what it means to have empowered health, empowered well-being. And I want you to see that somewhere in that first few months, you're working on a plan as to how you could impact the lives of people in terms of their health and well-being. And we live in a time where technology enables voices to be heard by millions. So maybe you see yourself working on a way that aligns with you and your values to take your knowledge, take your perspective, and to get to people that don't normally hear the information that could positively impact their life. And I want you to define what kindness is for you. Maybe you see yourself with a good intention to help people. Whether or not people are grateful for that kindness is on them. But you can see yourself as a kind person with good intentions that has a purpose and a vision to positively impact the world, make the world a healthier, kinder place. And if that looks like a desirable future, a future where through that purpose the side effect is that you're healthier, more active, you seem slimmer, leaner, more confident, with a spring in your step. See how you look a year, 2, 3 years. And the more you're aligned to this purpose and vision, almost you seem to be looking more youthful, more energetic. It almost seems that having this purpose is turning you into a Benjamin Button where you're getting younger and more energetic, the more enthused and passionate you are about your vision and your purpose. And I want you to see yourself 10 years from now. And I want you to notice what seems to be different. Maybe you see yourself feeling more fulfilled. Maybe you see yourself feeling proud of this person that's impacted so many lives. And maybe that voice, that privilege, led to new opportunities to have even more of an impact. I want you to see yourself with enhanced skills. By going out of your comfort zone, you had to learn new things, develop new skills, overcome adversity and challenge. But you realized that that was necessary to keep you on your toes, to feel that you are moving forward. See yourself as comfortable, slimmer, happier, and see yourself as kinder to yourself. And if that future looks desirable, aspirational, but also achievable for you, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to step into that version of you, step into that future version of you, and feel how good it feels to be aligned with a vision and a purpose, to impact the world through the choices that you make, to feel that you're making a difference. And hold on to that. And then take yourself back to that pathway where the road splits into two. And you could choose to plod along as usual, or you could choose to step into a version of you empowered and inspired, emboldened by a vision and a mission that unlocks powerful resources that were always there. They just needed a challenge big enough to unlock them. Perhaps you do want to plod along as you have been, well within your comfort zone, bored because you weren't challenged enough, or to accept the challenge, to have that positive intention to impact the world, and to know that by doing so, it's not the world that only benefits, you also benefit too. And if you feel a desire to pursue that more challenging path, nod your head and start walking down that path, unlocking all of the resources necessary to get started, knowing that there will be challenges and adversity on the way, but that you welcome those challenges and adversity, knowing that will enable you to be evolving to an even kinder, more competent, more impactful version of yourself. Tap into those wonderful feelings of inspiration, enthusiasm, and mission. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel like you're returning to the present with a sense of purpose, a sense of identity, that you are a kind person that wants to make a difference to the world. And you will start with being kinder to yourself. That's it. Counting from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling motivated, inspired, and ready to take immediate action to create momentum. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.